the BLERD official podcast. We are here to entertain you. Oh my gosh. Yes, we're so happy you're here. We are so happy you're tuning in. Let me introduce my co-host, Hilton George. How you doing? How you doing, y'all?
Doing great. I'm so happy to be here in the room. Look, this is the only time and the only way I can go out with friends and stay in the air conditioning. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes,
you can't do that with nothing else. Everybody else needs you to go out in the heat, and y'all just be like,
we ain't leaving the house.
And we can just hang out in the AC. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't
the world is on fire. We ain't leaving the house. If we ain't Zooming, we ain't streaming, we ain't doing nothing. That's it. Period. Christi Renee, how are you doing?
I am fabulous.
Yes. You looking fabulous.
I know. Got the shoulders all out and stuff.
I know.
We about to upset all our Mormon audience. About to be upset. We're gonna lose. We are losing the Mormon fan base today.
Don't write me no email about her skin, y'all. I ain't got no control over this woman.
Don't try it. I'm good. I'm here. I've got my little chips and my juice. I'm ready to talk about what we got today because I have thoroughly enjoyed some things. I want to tell
you. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay.
Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready.
I'm so ready.
Listen, before we get into that, I have to tell you both. You know we need to do a follow-up show on a couple of things that I went back and watched. Because y'all are giving me my credit.
No, we can talk about these things today. We can talk about. Okay, so we're on the agenda. We're going to talk about Miss Marvel, and I know what you already going to say. You want to talk about? You want to talk about the Winter Soldier? Yeah. She finally watched it.
Finally watched it.
She watched it.
I just wanted to say that's what I got to throw out.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Y'all be breaking me down.
No, we can talk about it. I come ready. If you want to talk about
we ready.
I come ready.
I got my Disney Plus subscription. I got my card. I'm ready. Let's do this.
I've literally watched that series. I've watched that series at least 3 times. Like that's how much I enjoyed it. It was probably one of my favorites. And oh man. I mean, first of all, it's like you take, 2 characters that are very much beloved that really resonated with the Marvel MCU audience. You have Hawkeye, who is what's his name? It's just, yes, the Falcon. I remember saying Hawkeye. I'm like, wait, wrong one, Falcon. And then you have the Winter Soldier. Like it was just one of those situations that those 2, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, they were my favorites from the beginning. Like from the beginning.
Civil War to be the buddy cop. Buddy movie
that we didn't know we needed.
Right.
I needed every bit of it. It was so good.
I just love their performances. I love the plot. I love the character development, the storyline, everything. Just in the same way as the Winter Soldier, the movie was, which was not so much a superhero movie as a geopolitical, little espionage, some spycraft, a little bit of like military drama, international, incidents. You're watching stuff around the world, and it's not like this fantastical, Thor type of movie or Guardians of the Galaxy type movie. No, it's very much plugged into where we are and what we're doing. So accessible as a story and so well written and so well acted.
And that's the part I loved about it because it was so like timely. It was so in the moment of what is going on in the world. And they kept it real. Because you guys know, if there was an opportunity for a Black man to be Captain America, the way that this country is set up, it would be pushback. There was pushback when, at the end of Endgame and he was handed, people were like, what? It's always pushback. And so I'm glad they didn't even sugarcoat it. They were like, no, we're going to give you the story. But they also, obviously Chris Evans is a beloved character. We've had him for more than 10 years. And it's hard to say goodbye to some people, but we know the underlying reason there was pushback when he turned the mantle over to him. And even now, like this past week, they had said something about how they're going into production and they're going to start, making a new Captain America movie with Anthony Mackie. And everyone was like, are you coming back? Are you coming back? And they're asking Chris Evans. And in a live interview, he said, Anthony Mackie is Captain America. So he shut it down. He was like, don't ask me, am I coming back? This is now his franchise, and I'm in full support.
Say what? I said boom.
Like boom, he dropped the mic off.
Boom.
Okay.
Look, Chris Evans. People forget Chris Evans, boy. He be dropping some serious jewels on Twitter. He goes out. He goes in and out.
Y'all remember I told y'all the boy he's woke. I follow him, and I feel like he's an ally. I know they didn't try to steal our word and our terminology, but we snatching it right back. That's why my daughter, I don't know where she got this from, but Heaven had me yelling out Christopher Jamal because she swore his middle name was Jamal.
Christopher Jamal, Evans.
She thought she read that somewhere.
I'm gonna have to log off on that one. Y'all not gonna put Jamal on my man Christopher.
Christopher Jamal, Evans.
Y'all about to have him call into the show and be like,
we love you, Christopher Jamal. Well, we knew he was down. I knew he was down when, Lizzo was playing, like Lizzo was tagging him in all them tweets. Ooh. And he was like, oh, what's up? What's up, Lizzo? Like,
listen, there's footage of that man pushing up on many a Brown sister back in the day. And I mean pushing up like he knew. Like I'm in the right place at the right time and you talking to the right man. That brother has game. So he is not new to this. This guy y'all met him as Captain America. I met him as Lucas Lee. Right. So you look, Lucas Lee from Scott Pilgrim. That was my introduction to this guy, and that's before the Shout, and that was before Fantastic Four. Amazing actor. So I knew that this guy was legit on the real front, even before he got the role. When he got the role, I was like, yeah, he's gonna have some opportunities with this role to say some stuff on his personal Twitter that's gonna throw some people off. And he's not disappointed me. Never disappointed me.
He's not disappointing me either. And one thing I will say is that you got to think about it. This is someone who got the part of Captain America, and he was Captain America for 10 plus years. I mean, and these are like little movies. These are movies that took a year to make. And these are long, drawn out things. These are like, he went through all of it. He gave Marvel everything he could. So he made the decision that he wanted to leave. They didn't say, oh, we're going to replace you. The story's changing. They wanted him to stay. They begged him to stay. And he goes, you know what? I've done it. I've done it all. I just don't see anything else I can do. And I bet, I don't know. I mean, I didn't talk to him about it, but I bet when he found out that his co-star, like, we're going to turn it over to your co-star, someone that he'd worked with closely, someone he became family to, is getting the opportunity to do this. And it's a bigger story. It is a bigger story when you have a Black man as the symbol of America, like such a patriotic character. I can't say the word. No. But you have this, and Chris Evans gets that. So I love and adore him because he was like, I'm not playing no games with you guys today. I'm not going to entertain this conversation. Yep. I'm not coming back. I'm not surprisingly like going to make an appearance. This is his franchise. Accept it. And it's great.
Well, and another thing is that it's canon. It's canon. Yeah. This is what happens in the comic book. Yeah. So this shouldn't have surprised anybody. Because this has already happened in the comic books, and they're just following the canon. It's not like Kevin Feige woke up one day and was like, what woke messaging could I do today? Like, it's like, well, let's just incorporate as much of the current canon as we can while still telling a slightly different story. So even the fans will have something to look forward to. And that was the natural transition. Yeah. And they did it beautifully with this series.
I just want to say that since I did the assignment, and I understood it completely.
We knew you would.
We knew you would love this show. I was like, she's gonna love this show more than anything else.
She's gonna have a cramped shoulder from throwing her fist up halfway through
the whole time.
You got an arm in a sling. Let me shoulder out of the way.
Let me tell you what set me completely.
Okay, tell us.
What made me get up and run around the room was when they were introducing the new Captain America. And that black band, that marching band.
Yes.
I was like, I'm sorry. What am I hearing? Like, I sat straight up, laptop and failed. Like, oh my God, what am I listening to? What am I watching? I love this.
That juxtaposition of the HBCU band and the whitest. I mean, this is literally, they call himself the U.S. agent.
Yeah.
He's, even though they called him the new Captain America in the story, his character is called the U.S. agent. He's like the whitest, most corporate, most government, right-wing type of guy, Trumpy type of guy you would ever imagine. So having him being introduced with an HBCU band playing and then jumping on the stage, and then he even had this weird look, he didn't look like the mask fit him, and I thought that was so perfect. That and you see that that juxtaposition of him versus the black storyline of the Falcon, and fighting for this role, who's worthy, he's got powers, he doesn't, yada yada yada, and that set the whole narrative for the entire show.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
I was not trying to bring this up to do the whole show on this.
No, it's good.
No, we really do need to dedicate an entire show to this particular, because it's just like any other thing. Like I really want today to be about what you plan for Miss Marvel.
No, it's good. It's good.
This falls in line with what we have said before about Marvel. They absolutely, without a doubt, hands down, second to none, get it. They get it in it when it comes to culture. We started, of course, with the whole Black Panther, and then with these series, they are doing the work, because it ain't cliche. It's not stereotypical. It's not. It is so the realism is it's the accuracy for me.
They've hired the people who know.
Yes. And they're listening. That's the trick. And they're doing the work.
That's the trick.
Somebody was in one of the writers' room and said, What if the new Captain America went in for a bank loan and couldn't get it after saving the universe
from Louisiana?
Like what does that look like in America? This guy who everyone knows saved the world, saved the universe, can't go into a bank and it don't affect his Equifax. You save the universe, but your Equifax and the bank manager is still not going to give you any money to save your boat. And we're all like, boom, put that in. Let's
reality.
Exactly.
Welcome to a Black person's life.
Right.
Every day.
It deserves its full time, just like Miss Marvel deserves its full time, just like Moon Knight deserved its full time. Because again, now we're getting into the absolute, the truth of what real diversity looks like. And again, it's not overly commercialized, and nobody's stealing. It's incredibly appropriate, and I love it. So I love it too. From Miss Marvel,
it's fine. No, because it all kind of ties into each other. Because I think like why they get it right and why it works is because anytime you have a company that does something or missteps or like you kind of go, weren't there like 10 people to approve this message before it became a message to offend the world? Like but if you look at those companies, nobody is there. Like there's no diversity. There's nobody there to go, this is offensive. That's not quite how it works. So the reason it works for or anything like the reason it works for Marvel is because the people who are writing these stories, the people who are heading up these projects, the people who are directing, the people who are casting, like every single person is someone who knows this culture and who understands it. And it's from the top down. So that's why it works. Like it isn't even, it's almost like when you think about it, it's like, how many times do we got to tell you, if you diversify, then you're going to have someone in the room who's going to say, that doesn't work. That doesn't speak. That's offensive. That is like wrong. And they, like you said, they do the work. They do the work by hiring the people who know, we know us, when you look at Miss Marvel, it's so culturally authentic because it's, like you look at the writers list, it's like literally they're writing about their own life. They're writing about how the aunties and the uncles and how you go when you go to mosque, they know because they do that. This is what I grew up in. It's not even a matter of studying. It's just, I'm going to tell our stories,
Well,
and that's the part I love.
Think that to piggyback off of that point is, and I said this in a panel just this past weekend, is that there is, kind of pandering, and then there's real live business model integration of things that make money. And I, as a business person, whenever I'm looking at folks who might want to partner with me or work with the con or sponsor, I know that the news cycle around George Floyd and Black Lives Matter drew a whole lot of people, out to be sponsors and be active who felt like they had to do something in that time and space. But as soon as that cycle, rotated out, that support went with it, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
But now that you're looking at a business model, Kevin Feige recognizes that this is good business, that this will make money if I keep putting the right people in the room to write the stories and cast the right actors and do this correctly. Authenticity and diversity actually sells. That will never go away. They will never change that business model. It doesn't matter what the news cycle does. Doesn't matter who's president. Doesn't matter global events. Disney is here to make money. And as long as the shareholders are happy, as long as the board of directors is happy, and long, obviously, as we the fans are happy,
we're happy.
That is where I would prefer that than somebody who's got a bleeding heart who may get rotated out of the special project that is gonna time out, than to have somebody come in and be like, hey, look, it's great that we're doing this thing and telling really authentic stories and stuff, but we really want to make money, so come on board and boom. And that's really why I think it's working. And that's why you're going to see it continue. That's why you see the depth of the investment, in all of those things, Karen, that you were saying. And I think that this direction, I hope other studios, I hope Netflix gets a hold of this. I hope Sony gets a hold of this. I hope Prime gets a hold of this. It says, maybe we can get off of the fence here, because the trolls on Twitter and the people who make all the noise about wokeness as a pejorative, those people are not affecting the bottom line. And we saw that with Miss Marvel. There was a lot of people who were like, oh, it's too much about, Muslim this and da, da, da. And it's like the highest rated show of
highest rated of all of them. And 94% tomato meter, like through the roof, like almost perfectly told.
Worth every minute watched. Every minute. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. I love it. I've laughed. I'll just be ready to cry sometimes for the girl.
You love that girl.
And no, I am nothing like
Kamala Khan. She is
Kamala Khan is her eye. Let me just talk about her features alone. Like, she's a beautiful girl. She's not this twig, and I'm not.
No, she's a real girl, a real teenager.
I don't body shame in any form or fashion. I don't. If you're bony, you're bony. I grew up a bony butt. So I'm not that same bony butt, but I'm saying I grew up that way. I couldn't stand being called Poe. I hated that. That was the ugliest thing. Well, no matter what, but I do love. She reminds me so much of my own girl, my own little girl. And her eyes and her lips and just everything about her, that hair. Let me tell y'all, I love this show. I love this show so much.
I love it too.
She was actually a fan of Miss Marvel and had cosplayed her in the past. And there's pictures of her Halloween dressed up in her own cosplay that she had made. And so for her to ultimately you can see it in her face when she's taking this role on and when she's acting and inhabiting this character, that she is living a dream. And that's why it's so easy to sell her character.
Thank God they found her.
Through. Oh yeah, and found on a Craigslist ad. Like, who's on Craigslist?
Yes.
Who's on Craigslist?
Right.
Like, creepy people.
Yes. I'm just so happy they found her. Like, she is so good. Like, you're absolutely right. And I feel like this is what young girls and young teenagers, and like I told my niece, like I was like, I want you to watch the show, and she was like, she's 10, and I was like, you got to watch it, so good. And I just want her to see like little girl that is not, like you said, it's not a little model-y looking, like she's a real little girl. Like, that could be her friend at school, and it just speaks volumes. And that's what we need. Like, I love that it's a younger demographic.
Yes.
But the show is so entertaining. So if you've heard anything negative about it, it is a full MCU moment. They are lying. It's just whatever. You can't say anything negative about this show when it's so well written. It's so authentic. And it's so like it gives you the funny, it gives you the heartwarming, it gives you everything. Yeah, I mean, there were times I was just choking up between, you know, she has a really hard relationship with her mother. Like, it just doesn't come natural, and her mom doesn't get her, and they kind of go through this journey, and finally at the end, her mom gets her, and her mom appreciates the weird little daughter that she has, you know.
But it explains that relationship and how it's generational, because the mother has issues with her own mother.
Right.
She was with her mother.
And it just took this whole thing. Yeah, and it took this whole thing for Kamala, for her mom really to appreciate who she authentically is. And I think that is such a relatable topic. Like, there are so many people who have, you know, they just don't click with the people that they should click with, you know, and it just becomes, like you said, a generational curse. But it showed it. Yeah. And it just really, like, it deals with more than just these action scenes. It really has heart. So what was one of your favorite moments? And we can bounce around, because everybody, if you're watching this, then you should have watched it weeks ago. It's been out. There's all kinds of spoils that are going to happen.
Our motto.
Yeah. So it's like, when we say we're talking about something, we're going to talk about something. So Hilton, you tell me, what was one of your favorite moments for the series? Like, what was something that really stood out to you?
I think with origin series, for me in general, whenever the character finally steps into their suit, you know, the actual suit that is signature to their character, because she went through like 3 or 4 different iterations. She was doing the Captain Marvel cosplay in the beginning, and then she was doing you know, she kind of had the sari, and you know, some of the color scheme was in there. But you know, when she's standing in the mirror in that final episode, looking at the suit that her mother gave her, using the insignia that her mom, you know, saw from the earring that she found. And I mean, you just, you know, it all just kind of, the story just all comes together in that moment. And you see that look in her eyes, and she's got that adorable smile, and it's a moment for her. But what it also does is it signifies that the movie's arc, the character arc, has all been about her not just discovering this bangle and her power, but her discovering her family. And the more she explored her family's history, and the more she connected with her family individually and learned and built their relationships, that's where her power, you know, was kind of tracking with that. So everything was in that moment for me. And that one always stood out for me, as it does with a lot of the series, but especially this one.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good moment. Yeah. Christi, what do you think? What was something that really stood out to you?
I'm going to tell you what's funny is, because in another episode here at the BOP, we talked about, and I remember I had to shake Hilton down, like, I ain't that mama.
She was not having it.
Let me tell you about the mother, and my connection to her was not about, you know, her harsh vision for her daughter. Like, it was just,
she was harsh,
so stringent and so strained, but what was lying just under the surface of every correction, every fierce moment she had in exchange with her daughter, she always had this compassion for her own kid. And I thought, oh my God, I just love watching her. But she was a developmental character. Like, I understand, you know,
she came a long way.
She came a long way. But I think she always had it there, because she's, you know, she's still a developing character, even while we're at the end of this season. I think she's always known, you know what I mean? So she's always known that there's something special, something different. And it's not just Kamala, it's the family lineage. It's the genetics. And so even though she did everything she could to try to avoid, I'm gonna also tell you what I loved was her, I think she's almost one of my favorite characters, which is crazy, because I just disagree with
everything.
Yeah, I just disagree with the way she was. She was very hard on her. I thought it was hysterical, though, when they did them Hulk costumes at the.
This is the mom you're talking about.
The mama made the Hulk costume. The daddy comes in full body paint. Did you notice that the little boy on the wife's side, who, you know, the bride's side, he had on that whole costume.
Somebody was gonna wear that costume.
So I thought that was hysterical. But I think I really enjoyed watching her change. And so there was no one moment, but this whole thing, because I love it so much, I was like, dang, but I keep being drawn back to the mom.
Well, maybe that moment there might be a moment in there that we're not talking about. And remember, in the beginning, the first opening of the episode of one, she wanted to go to the Comic-Con,
right?
And the father said, "Yes, we trust you," and the mom was like, "No, we don't."
No, we don't.
A little bit. She's like, "No, we don't trust her at all." And that was literally what she said. Yes. But after she revealed her powers and everything that was going on, and then she got the alert that she needed to go and do something with her powers, the mom literally said, and it's the same, she's standing in exactly the same place, and the mom is sitting in exactly the same place one, and she's like, "I trust you. Go do what you got to do." Yeah. And so those two moments like kind of bookend the arc of that character. Yeah. And, you know, for me, for that character, I think that was like with the waving flag of like, okay, you can do this through family. Because they could have made a teenage, you know, angst movie or TV show where it's just like this constant battle between the family and the daughter. And she has to hide everything, and it's constantly
it's secret. Like the whole family knows who she is.
And the fact that she told, like, it was on, like, she told the dad, and then the dad spilled the beans to everybody. And they
he was on speakerphone. Like,
he's like, what? All the parents. You're a night ride? Oh, wow. That's wild. He's like,
that's so funny. I think even the high priest knew before, like when they step outside and they're at the house, and they're having the party, the bridal, or, you know, the shower party, I guess. But yeah, so I hate that because I feel like I need to learn terminology. I don't want to overly Americanize everything, but right. But yes, and when he stepped out, I think the advice that he gave her was because he sensed, like, I've seen this girl grow up. She's different. You're just different. And so you're the reason why you're asking me. He's old and wise, and it just makes sense. But the mama, I think, the mom. I can't wait to see where this goes. Because I don't think she's done. I think
no. The next
it just scratched the surface.
The next movie is going to be called Marvels. And this is going to bring in Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau is going to be in it. Yeah. I'm not sure who else is going to be in it, but that's the next film that you're going to see.
This was all just a setup. Like, it really was just scratching the surface of, let's introduce her, help you fall in love with her, and then she's really going to hit her stride in the next movies and stuff. But one thing I loved, I mean, I loved how like the best part of the whole thing was her, and was just that she was different, and at no point did, you know, Kamala, did she ever say, "I need to fit in"? At no point did she want to be like every other kid. Like, she liked being different. And I think that's such a good example for the kids like us. Like, I was different. Like, I mean, I would spend hours in my room, you know, dancing, and my sisters, like, they literally would be like, you know, I would tell them what my dreams were, and nobody in my family ever said, "Girl, please." Like, they were just like, "Yeah, she's going to do that." Yeah, she is. Like, it was like, I came from the most, like, supportive family, where a lot of my friends that I know in the industry, like, that's a rarity, you know, where you have someone like your weirdness, or they encourage you to be different, or they encourage you to be weird. And at many times in my life, my family has stepped up and said, "You need to go over there and be weird. Like, you need to go over there and do that. You know, don't try to conform." And so that's what I think that for me was the best part, that at no point did this character ever want to fit in that box, you know. And she was a sweet kid. She was a good kid. She wasn't doing anything that was bad, but, you know, she had that desire, and she knew deep down she was different. And I love the end credit scene where her friend tells her, like, he goes, "Hey, you know, I kind of was like, doing some research and like your genetics, something's different. Like, and so it just opened the door of like, oh, this girl really is different.
Oh no, they used that moment to introduce, and Kevin Feige backed this up. That moment is making her the first mutant in the MCU. So notice when he said your there's a mutation in your genetics, and then you heard the 80s cartoon, the 90s cartoon track from X-Men. Just kind of played in there.
See, I didn't even catch that, but I heard like,
listen, I heard it. I felt that right in my 23andMe. I was like, oh, they about to do it. They done brought Professor X into Multiverse of Madness, and then they playing the track here. And so with her being technically right now the first the first mutant in the MCU, is just going to open up a huge vault of opportunities and storytelling devices.
I cannot wait. I can't wait. You know what I'm looking forward to the most is the moment, because you know who I love. I just love her anyway. I love Brie Larson. And I can't wait for the two of them to meet. Like, I'm going to be screaming.
Did you see the end credit scene for the last episode?
Where Brie shows up?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
you gotta go watch. You gotta wait. Like, you gotta go. Like,
hey, let's all hit pause so you can go now.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I know better than that. I don't know why I jumped up. I think because I had gone straight through. I remember I'm texting y'all on the thread like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're going to give us play by play.
Yeah, part of her powers, and they haven't really defined what they're going to do in the MCU with this, is that she's just actually teleported to wherever Captain Marvel was, right? Yeah. And then Captain Marvel teleported to where Kamala Khan's house was,
and shows up
sorta,
in her bedroom.
She kind of realized what was happening and took off running like, oh no, like, so there's an awareness of what has happened, even though she may not know the character and the storyline and everything like that. So this is going to be part of the storytelling device of the next episode. But yeah, it was just like the last scene. It was literally 10 seconds.
Like you got to go through some of the credit and then you'll see it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're going to love it.
Well, you know me, even when y'all tell me, you can tell me a play-by-play, you can give me colors and descriptions and everything. And, you know, I'm one of those where I'm like, that doesn't spoil anything for me. I'm still going to go back and watch it.
I'm still going to live every moment of it. Yeah. Yes. Christi, you're definitely that person. Yeah. You're definitely a person. Well, you know, one other thing I really loved about this series, and and again, this is something that MCU always gets right, is the guest stars and like the surrounding cast. Like I loved Bruno. I loved, you know, I just love like how he was getting jealous when, you know, Kaman came in and he was
kept
calling him Brian, kept calling him Brian. Like,
I know he's doing that on purpose. I know he's doing it.
It's like Bruno, like, but he was such a like great, like sidekick, best friend, kind of low key in love with her. Like he was such a great person. And I love like what they did and didn't really talk about is how he just blended into her culture and loved her family and her like he loved everything about it. Yeah.
And that's how it happens in like multicultural societies. You know, if you live around a neighborhood where like it's all Pakistani Muslims, you know, 10 blocks this way and 5 blocks that way, then you're going to school with the same kids and you're going to eat at the same food trucks and restaurants and coffee shops. And so imagine if they grew up together their whole life, you know, together as friends.
It's just as much his culture. Yeah,
exactly. And the adoption of that is, you know, the fact that the family, you know, adopted him in that way. Like we never meet his parents. Like we never.
Bruno just. Well,
so
he
he's
even
one of the
said
family.
He lost
treated
his
like
parents.
A brother.
Yeah, his parents are dead, aren't they? Yeah, I think they're dead.
Okay.
Well,
so
they mentioned, but then you also go like, well, who does he live? Yeah, because I was like, well, who does he live with? Because he's in high school.
Deep into that,
But he mentions it to Kaman when he loses his mother. He goes, "Yeah, I understand. My parents aren't around either, you know." And so at that moment, I was like, "Oh, dang!" So this is something. But anyways, I just love the supporting cast. Like, I mean, we talked about the mama,
Mr. Wilson. Can we talk about Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
The counselor, the school counselor. He is hilarious. Like hilarious. All of the interactions, even with her. Oh gosh, I can't pronounce her name.
Which one?
Is she the white girl? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you, Zoe.
Well, no. Naskia, not. That's not her name.
What, her real?
She called. No, I'm talking about her in the show. They call her something else.
Her name
like
is
her
Zoe.
Character name.
Zoe Zimmer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her name is Zoe. The girl who she saves her life in the beginning.
Oh no, not her.
Her friend, her best friend, not Skia,
Nakia.
Okay, but it sounded like we had an extra letter in there. So anyway, what I thought was interesting was how their interactions, saying their little phrases and their intonations and just the rhythm of it. I was like, this is accurate because I got one of them. This is so realistic. This is how they talk. She and her best friends, and when it's like,
it was very
well. This is because they cast real teenagers,
and
not 30-year-olds that look like teenagers. So asking a 17-year-old to play a 15-year-old, you're going to get a more accurate, screen presence than somebody who's 25 being asked to play 15.
Those nuances are there because that's how they communicate.
Exactly. Yeah. So I agree.
If Marvel don't hurry up and start funding us, because when I tell you, I can't say enough, they just got it right. So I know it's not just the kids, the casting, but it's got to be part of that writing process and that, the filming, the whole process, because you can still cast somebody and then write this script for them that is like, I got to say that, well, this Marvel. So but they don't function that way. Clearly, they're just on a different vibe, a different level. They just vibrate different.
I also would like to note that they did an amazing job of portraying the Muslim Pakistani community to a T, and so accurately and so positively. We got a sense, even with some of the potentially sticky, family politics and neighborhood politics, around the election, in their in the mosque board and that kind of stuff, and the little rivalries and the gossiping and all that sort of stuff. It never felt like they were demeaning or attacking Islam or attacking the Pakistani community. They were honestly depicting aspects of that culture as it manifests both here as Americanized second generation, and when they go back to Pakistan and you see, here are my cousins and here's how they interact. And I'm a first generation American Pakistani, and I'm eating a food here that is killing me. It is burning my head off. You can see that there is a difference between her as an American Pakistani and even like her family over there. They're just like, what's wrong with you? It's like, are you sweating because you're wearing pants? It's like, no, I'm sweating because I'm eating this thing. It's so hot. And anybody who's ever had, Pakistani food or Middle Eastern food and did not really pay attention to the spice level has been there. Yeah. And so it was really, really, really cool how they did that. And it was almost like that culture was a character in the show, because it played a role in everything that happened in the show, had some steering or some working or some root in the storyline and around the community that it was taking place in. And I just love that about the storytelling because
I loved also how they kept it real. Like when, Kamala and all of them were trying to hide and they ran to the mosque, and Nakia was like, girl, they watch us. Like, they watch us. Like,
here.
We're in America. Like, you came here.
Surveillance.
Like, there's FBI surveillance. Like, this is, but it really shows you what that community has to go through. Like, there are so many things. They've been given this, like, this show almost humanized them in a way where we got to know these are real people. And you will say, like, people will say racist things or believe in racist tropes, and you will sit here and think this one way about Muslims, and they're like, no, these are real families. These are real people.
Yep.
And they're being watched for no reason. They're not doing anything but going and praying, and this is like, it just shows like the difficulty. Like, we always talk about it, especially like with the Black community and the difficulty it is to, just, be Black in America. Well, it showed you how difficult it is to be from you know, a Muslim in America.
Person,
and they didn't sugarcoat it, you know, and I love that about the series. And that was one of the good things. You had like the good stuff that entertained us, but you also had that real underlying you know, storyline of realism. Like we don't get treated that way here.
And it resonated with us as Black people, because I really felt like I was watching, you know, like there were moments in the interactions with her family where I was like, that's some Black stuff. Like,
they're dealing with
like your mom making way too much food to give to somebody that don't really, they not that hungry. Like that is so Black. Like
you get your plate is like 3 pounds heavy.
Right. and then you know the way that Black men in a family are treated versus the women in the Black family is like, well, you can't go to the club, your brother can go and do what he want to do. And you know, all of those things kind of like played in the dynamic between the parents. You know, there was just so much of that was, you know, I say Black because I'm Black, but I would imagine that anyone who's watching this probably saw some parallels between their family dynamic. You know, I grew up with gossip.
If you're a person of color, you're
you
gonna
know,
see it.
Like,
you know what it is? Well, because it's called culture.
Right.
When you have a culture, it's your tradition, it's your ways of doing and being, and that's shared throughout time. And so when you are organically cultured in your in your space, and then you recognize other spaces that are cultured, that's what that is. And we're able to pick up on it, and they were able to write this. We can relate to it. Didn't matter. Like I said, that felt like me watching, you know, another part of my family in another part of the world.
Exactly.
But also what I loved is that even when they would also make little jabs for other cultures, because when Kamala gets to that temple, that hidden space where she fights the boy, I can't remember the name, and I'm sad because the dad died. The one that they tell her, Kareem, yes, when they tell her, but they're sitting there and they're having a bite to eat, and it's a sweet and sour soup, or sweet and sour, what is it? It's something that's Asian, and it's red, and she's like, why is it red? And he said, you mean they colonized this sweet and sour soup over there too?
It's not even red. It's like it's white overall. Like
we did it. It's something totally different here. If you're not getting it authentically, that's why, you know, like I've never been a fan of Tex-Mex. If I'm eating Mexican food, I'm eating Mexican food. But y'all not doing it right. So, but it's so like that. But I love that even in other cultures who understand and respect other cultures, like they were able to make those points to everybody else, like, we got you. We see you, and we got you. I love that.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so I wanted to ask Hilton a question, because you're like our Marvel expert. Like, I didn't understand like the gens, like the crew that was after her, right? Like, what is the backstory on that? Because I mean, obviously I enjoyed the show, but I wanted to get a little bit more backstory on where they are, who they are, and just kind of like, you know, that whole thing.
You know, the series didn't go too deep into this, and I suspect that it will at some point, because a lot of this is tied into the power of the bangle, and the bangle has been theorized to be tied into the 10 rings from Shang-Chi. Because these, you know, when you saw them going into the archaeological site looking for the bangle in, I think it might have been episode 3, the insignias on the ground while they were in Urdu were the exact same symbols from the 10 rings.
Yes.
Right before it all collapsed, and they found and you notice that the bangle was on a mummified blue arm. So there might be some Kree, you know, connections here. And, you know, so we're not sure that the jinn have anything directly to do with the 10 rings or who was wearing it, you know, that was mummified.
Right.
But we do know that the power of it is going to be tied to that, and that's going to be somehow connected. We also don't know how the jinn that were on this dimension got trapped here or exiled from there, and why they feel like they can go back and not get sent right back here, you know, is a mystery.
So the mom was like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, you know?
Right. We're not really getting that type of, we're not getting that exposition here, but I do think that it's coming. I think it's open right now in the MCU as to what the bangle actually is. And I could go into like super nerd sub-reference zone about the quantum bands and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. But that's a whole other show. We will eventually be told that.
Yes.
But the question then becomes, how long have they been here? Which we know is at least 100 years, right?
Right.
Because they were adults and walking around, having done research and knowing where they were and how to get back during the time of the repatriation of India and the partitioning of Pakistan from India, and that war happening right above their heads as they found this bangle. And the fact that none of them really could activate it, the Nani was able to activate a little bit of it, but it wasn't like Kamala Khan's being unlocked by it. So this is, I think, fodder for the future. In the comic, obviously, she is an Inhuman who has been exposed to the Terrigen Mists, and the Terrigen Mists are how her powers came about. But they are rewriting that so that she is both a Jinn with maybe a little bit of Inhuman, and now she's a mutant, and that's what makes it so special. And I think that's going to be like, there's probably a movie and 2 or 3 series that are going to really unlock a lot of those sorts of things.
That's why I like Hilton. Hilton be having some information that I would never know.
I'll be watching. I'm like, the 10 rings. Yeah. That's a Kree arm.
I didn't even see that. I always want to go back and rewatch the stuff he brings up.
Like I did catch when they talked about all the different names for Jinn, and that's where I made the connection. Oh, Genie, that's what we would call in our version. And then then I immediately flashed back to the blue hand, and I was like, oh Lord, that's what.
And but I never about that too, because
I never would have made the connection, though, Hilton, to Kree.
Oh yeah. Now that is, you have Secret Invasion is coming up, which is a series based on, now in the comic book, Secret Invasion was about the Skrulls invading and infiltrating America, the world society, because they can change shape. But we have already seen that the Skrulls are not the automatic bad guys that they are in the comics, and it's probably more about the Kree that are doing the secret hiding, because you saw, well, I don't know if everybody saw this, but they talked about this in Coming Home or Homecoming, where the 2 Skrulls that were portraying Nick Fury and his assistant were talking about, we got some Kree sleeper cells here, blah 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 blah. So that Secret Invasion thing might be a Kree thing. So that's all coming up. So the Kree storyline is coming. So I think my gut tells me every time you see a blue skin something, it's pointing toward the Kree and nowhere else. And that's
Captain Marvel have Kree in her?
Yeah.
Yes, Captain Marvel is effectively Kree. She got the blood transfusion, the Infinity, the Tesseract explosion, and then her spending years as a Kree, shock trooper. Their equivalent of the Green Berets, and so so she is effectively Kree, even though she was born on Earth and has human DNA. But the Kree are not all one color, right? The original core Kree are blue, and the additional colors variations came from blue, but their original color is blue.
What all of the references?
What?
I mean, think about it. The age-old argument is everybody come from black people.
I thought you were going to say the Roman Empire.
I don't know where you were going with it, bro.
Because I'm just connecting it to that last comment that originally, but then there's been some evolution and some changes, and that's how
the reason why the Kree come in varieties now is because they are a conquering and integrating society, just like the Roman Empire was. They would come and invade a country, and once the fighting was over, they didn't kill everybody there. They're like, okay, you're all Romans now, and we're gonna give you an aqueduct, and we're gonna give you laws, and we're gonna give you writing and schools and buildings and architecture, but you're also gonna serve in our military and help us invade the next country over, because we're not done here. We're done with Spain. Now we're going to Portugal, then we're going to Libya, and so they start picking up all these races that are intermarrying and intermingling, and so you have more people of the Roman Empire of different colors. And it's kind of that same metaphor. So, yeah, the original in this case is blue. And they just keep taking over planets and bringing the people on over. Like, all right, keep on doing it.
You know what? I'm excited. I'm excited where this series could go. Like, one thing I will say, it left us wanting more. And it left me just like, man, this could go a million different ways, And that's what's exciting, because it's like, it's just the start. And that's how I felt about Shang-Chi. That's how, like, all the new stuff that we've been getting, it's like, it's just planting the seeds to like another 10, 15 years of us enjoying all these really cool movies and TV shows. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Thrilled.
Marvel does it.
Yes.
They keep on doing it.
They keep doing it. So, okay. So someone this week, or I think last week, they posted a picture where they're starting to put up, like at the movie theaters, the big cardboard, like displays, and they put up Wakanda Forever. So it's coming.
Why are you gonna do that to Christy? Christy, go get your medication quick. The blood pressure going through the roof.
Drink that vodka you have. Drink that champagne.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's coming.
November.
It's November. And like, we're going to get a trailer very soon. I almost got duped because I saw like a fake trailer and I was like, wait. And I went to the page
every time.
Yes, I went to the actual page and I was like, there's no way they put out a trailer and it's not on the actual page. But it was actually like, kind of giving you like, I was like, oh gosh, is this wait, no, hold up, wait, oh, and they were using what threw it off is they were using like stuff that I'd seen, and I was like, and I was like, there's no way they're gonna show us new stuff. And what was funny to me is like, this week, what's the actor? They announced that he wasn't going to be part of Wakanda Forever. Gosh, how do you say his name?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
He's from Get Out.
Yeah,
they said that he wasn't gonna, and I was like, why are people surprised? Like, isn't he like in the Wakanda jail for going against the king? And I didn't expect him in this movie.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
he had to surrender. They all had to surrender.
Yeah, and I didn't expect him in this movie. I expect him later on. I don't think he's gone.
Right,
like,
not
he's
in
obviously, but I didn't expect him in this new film. But people were very like outraged or just like, oh, I'm so sad and surprised. And I'm like, why are people surprised? Like,
he's been working on. He's been working on what I can't wait to get to. He's been busy.
That brother got booking and busy. He is busy, booked, and ready.
Well, they said that was the reason he didn't do it, because he was scheduling. He could not, like, he was booked. And, but it's exciting for me to see the Wakanda Forever, because we've been waiting for this for 3-4 years now. I just want to see how it's all going to come together, how they're going to just, I'm not listening
to nobody talking about they should do this, they should do that. That movie is going to come out and you're going to be there 2 hours before night, looking to get in your seats and be bragging about it the next morning.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige is not thinking about you.
He is not thinking, like, they know where they're going to go.
He got this. They know what they do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who's doing this? Is Ryan Coogler not doing it?
He is.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin Feige is over it all.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
He's not upsetting the apple cart. He's like, Ryan Coogler knocked it out the park. He's going to do it again.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that this is going to be a big hit. I think it's going to be a great movie. You can argue if it's as good or not as good as Black Panther.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's going to be in that top tier. They have put too much work into this. They're already talking about spinoffs for Okoye.
Yeah.
So this is heading in the right direction.
And they had already said Disney Plus is going to do a whole series about Wakanda. Like, there's a whole thing that Disney Plus is going to do that they announced 2-3 years ago. Yeah. So it's November 11th, which brings up a very
11.
Yes. Well, but get this. Ranger Stop and Pop Orlando, not Ranger Stop and Pop, Ranger Stop Orlando happens November 11th. So I'm assembling the team.
Karan Ashley will not be at her booth on the first day of
Wait, that night,
stop.
that Thursday night, the 10th, I'm assembling the team. So we're buying our tickets as soon as they come out, and we're all going to be there. So we got to figure out how you two can get to Orlando, because we need to see this one together. I feel like,
I don't know if I want to sit next to Christi. I feel like she's gonna be flailing her arms around. She's gonna be knocking over my popcorn.
Well, she might need her own. She needs her own section, and then
we might have to do a Hannibal Lecter with her, kind of roll her in with her.
We have to buy 2 sets of tickets, like see it, and like have to see it again because we missed some shit because she talking or
no.
She running up and down the aisle.
Let me tell y'all, what y'all don't understand about me is when I see a movie. First of all, don't breathe.
Don't chew that popcorn too loud.
No, we eat our snacks in the previews.
Right, and it's over.
And wait, and you can't even do previews.
You can't even eat your snacks during the movie.
No, because I need you to shut up. I need to hear every single nuance of this movie, especially when I know they gonna explain. They gonna say goodbye to Chadwick. I need to know. Like, I'm gonna probably start this movie off like in full on tears,
crying, just automatically.
I have to watch it twice because how am I gonna get over the crying and then be able to focus? Like I'm gonna need a break. Like I'm gonna need an emotional break.
Like they need to put a pause in the
whole theater. Like, all right, now listen.
We need an intermission. Like, like Broadway, they give you the intermission, and then you can go to the bathroom. You can do like. Yeah, we need an intermission.
We need an intermission with this film. They're not to press pause.
Well, I already know I'm gonna watch it at least 3 times.
Yeah,
that weekend. That weekend
came out. Yeah, we went to the theater 3 times to go see it. I literally get into movies and sit on the edge of my seat, and I'm not kidding. Like I literally lean up, and I'm like this.
Yeah. What's good to know. Okay, you're invited back into our row then. It's good to know.
Okay, you got your ticket. You good. Because I'm like you. There's certain kinds of snacks that automatically make noise. And Raisinets are the worst because they're in the box and you gotta roll into the
my god.
And then they roll back when you turn the thing back, and it's just this big drum. It's like a rattling, it's like a
noisemaker. It's like
and it's just like and I'm just like
disturbing the peace.
And I know I can only be so mad because they're Raisinets. You're not the manufacturer, you don't package them, but it's the loudest thing
that ain't no movie
in the theater.
That needs to be intermission food.
Yeah, that's skating ring candy. That ain't movie candy.
Yeah, intermission food. You can't. Yeah. No. Okay. So we got to figure this out because I know Dana's gonna be in Orlando. We got to figure it out.
Oh, word.
Yeah, Dana's gonna be in Orlando, and so we gotta. But I'm telling you, the last time, like Endgame, Infinity War, like I assembled a team. There was like 80 Power Rangers in the movie. We were I was like, guys, here's the link. Buy your tickets here, and like we all figured it out. We all got to the theater. We all were screaming at the top of our lungs when people started disappearing in Infinity War. We were screaming with Thanos and. When in Endgame, when all the women came out, we're like, we got your back. We were like,
Christi would have knifed me in my esophagus because I was standing up and screaming and crying and yelling, and I was so embarrassed for myself as to how I was not raised that way.
There are some exceptions to the rule where you do get a chance to get up and scream and holler like that scene. Even at home. When they're TNT, shout out to TNT because they gonna show us.
They gonna show us Endgame and Infinity War.
Marvel magic, and when Black Panther comes on, I know my people right now are like, oh God, we watching this again? Yes. Every time. Because I want the ratings. I want them to see. Oh, when Black Panther come on,
it just shoots up. It just shoots up. You watch it it's like Color Purple. You watch it like you ain't never watched it before.
Like you ain't never watched it before. Yep. Yeah.
Like it's just what we do. Like
talking to the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
But no, there are moments where you have to absolutely cheer and join in and enjoy it. And I love that they didn't put any words or anything to miss where you got to go. They gave us our time. They understood it. They let us.
Dialogue came immediately after Captain America grabbed the hammer. They didn't say nothing for 10 minutes after
they
that.
They knew. And like when Thor was like, I knew it. We were like, like when Captain America grabbed that hammer, I was floored. Like I was
and knew how to use it. My man was like, "Oh, all right, look, I'm about to call some lightning down. I'm gonna do all these."
If nobody else was worthy, we knew Cap was, and he pretended like he couldn't do it in Age of Ultron. I watched Age of Ultron this past weekend, so I'm like really like, and that was like it kind of made me mad. Like certain things made me mad.
That's why you made that post about Vision.
It was on TMT. Right. Yeah, certain things made me mad. Like I was gonna go on a rampage, but I stopped myself. But like that was when Wanda had an accent, a Russian accent. Yeah, and then all of a sudden she didn't. Like I was like, come on, like Vision was dope in that movie, and then after that he didn't. He fell in love, and nothing else ever happened.
Punk android.
I love
C-3PO.
And it's like it's one of those things. Like you love Vision because he's so nice, but he didn't do anything.
I'm like, dude, ain't you made of adamantium? Like or vibranium, aren't you?
For the Avengers, he just became the voice of reason.
But you know what? Also, that's one thing I didn't like about Captain Marvel, and you're gonna be mad at me.
I am.
It's like she didn't bring anything that special to Endgame. Like she was supposed to.
She took down the battleship in 4 seconds.
Karen, get off right now.
I am not.
She torpedoed. Even Thanos was looking up like, "Oh, damn, my ride!" Like, damn, that girl must. Like, you ever see a brother get a brick thrown through his windshield by his ex? That's how he was looking at Captain Marvel. Like, hey, my.
I just felt like with someone who's that powerful. Like, and we're gonna talk about Thor at some point. When somebody is that powerful, it's like. I felt Captain America. Well, obviously, Endgame was for Cap and Endgame was for Iron Man. Like, it was for those two characters. But for me, I was like, when you got something that powerful.
But it could.
Because even Bruce Banner pissed me off in that. The Hulk pissed me off in that movie. Like, something that powerful.
At the beginning, she said, I got other shit to do. Y'all are not the center of the universe. And that's what I appreciated about
I get
it, and that also fit in to give her the dramatic entrance she got. Started with
the fresh cut, girl.
Yeah,
I did not like that cut. I liked it better. I love the hairstyle she had in Miss Marvel.
Professor Hulk was exactly that, and the reason why, and people don't know this, the reason why he burnt his arm is because he took too long to snap because he was trying to bring. Black Widow back, and he said that he tried that, and it was so. And you saw how long it took him to do this. Because see, when Tony Stark had it, it took him about 3 seconds to snap, and everybody's gone. Yeah, he was trying to bring back Cat, and he couldn't quite do it, and that's what took so long, and that's why he burnt his arm. Yeah. And so. Those kind of intellectual decisions that he was making, is a different character, and everybody was expecting him to get this new, what do you call it, a rematch with Thanos. And I was like, nah, I didn't really care about that either. But
yeah, well, I'm excited about She-Hulk, and that's coming up. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. I'm very excited because I love another woman a woman person, is coming in and is going to be a superhero. But I love I'm just excited about the whole series, and I'm excited.
They're doing some stuff with her.
Yeah. So it's going to be good. Okay, so we can go on for hours.
Oh yeah, we got a clock.
We're done. We're
Marvel
out of
there. Come on,
yes.
Marvel.
I know, Marvel. You need to be the BOP sponsor, or we need to be the official podcast for Marvel. We're up for whatever you need us to do because we're here to watch, analyze, overanalyze, and just enjoy every single second of this.
I think they're waiting for BOP Plus. When we launch BOP Plus,
when BOP Plus, see, that's what it is.
Yeah, they got a fun BOP Plus. That's what we need.
Exactly. Guys, tune in every Tuesday for the BOP. We are here. We are going to give you all of our opinions, whether you like them or not. We are just going to have fun. That is the main focus of these conversations, is to enjoy ourselves and for you to come along the journey with us. So we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode of The BOP, the BLERD official podcast.